Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to class. Hello? Anyone hear me?
Hello?
All right. You heard me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir, but I can't see. I don't know why my video is not showing.
No, I'm not showing video yet.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. How you guys doing?
We're good.
All right. Yeah, let's see if I can do video. Give me 1 second. Let me shut that down. I haven't done video here before. Just bear with me. I'm gonna go to the office downstairs. All right. So
I will be able just in a second with video.
sorry.
I will be able just in a second with video as well.
Oh, you won't be able to do video. That's fine.
Yeah, I will be. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So yeah, my name is Akin Aregbesola, as you may already know. I'm in charge of the ITern. My face is not so bright, right? Just bear with me. I have to turn on that light. Just bear with me. Okay. So yes, I'll be your trainer at the beginning, and then somewhere at the end of the training, I'll come back again. There are about 4 of us actually delivering training at the ITern. All right, so today we are not doing anything too technical. I just want to introduce you to IT today and also give you the opportunity to ask all of the questions that you have so as to put you on a proper footing for the training. All right. Yeah, maybe we just do a brief introduction. I know that I've spoken to some of you on phone, and then I promise that today we are going to deal with some of the issues that some of your concerns, basically. All right, so I saw Russell. That name sounds familiar because one of my existing trainees talked about one Russell. I'm not sure if that's the Russell.
Yes, it's this guy.
Oh, okay, good. Jeremy, Tendi, Habib, Teju, Mola, Kila. All right, so if you are in, if you feel like, just do a brief introduction of yourself, and then we'll take off from there. I'm sure. Oh, Luis. I'm sure Luis Samuel. Looks like you already paid. All right, so let's start with Luis. He's about the only guy I can see on video. Yeah, Luis, can we get to meet you?
I don't know where to start from, but maybe others should start, then I'll join later.
All
Our
right.
video is not coming up. That's my own issue. Yeah, I'm not.
It
I don't know
doesn't
why my video-
matter. You can still talk now.
Let's
All
see if I
right,
can
I'll
get you.
talk.
You want me to show your video,
This is Jeremy.
Jeremy?
Okay, I can introduce myself. I'm
Okay, go on, Ted.
okay. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Tejumola Kwarande. I'm from Nigeria. I'm based in North Carolina. I'm into IT. I'm like junior in level in IT. Almost 3 years now. I have associate degree in network management, and I have some little certification. And for now, I'm working as a HCL technology analyst in a company, and the company is terminating the contract very soon. So,
Okay.
Upgrade, and that's why I'm here today.
All right, Tejumola, you're not a small boy in IT. 3 years, you're a big boy. So I guess we chatted a little bit because I remember.
Yeah, yesterday I started.
Yeah. So yeah, that's good. All right, awesome. Good to have you. Yeah.
All right, my name is Jeremiah.
Yeah, Jeremy. Okay, Jeremy.
I'm also from Nigeria, but I live in Nebraska presently.
Okay.
So for me, I would not say I'm new to IT. I've been in IT, but I've not done any practical when it comes to IT. I've just been reading theory, and I'm tired of those. So each time I apply for a job, they're like, "Oh, okay, what can you do?" I'm like, "What can I do?" So I'm always lost in that realm. Like, I don't want to disgrace myself in front of each company. So it pulled me back. I don't know. So I'm currently managing my brother-in-law's restaurant. He bought 4 different restaurants called Dickie's Barbecue Pit. So, but I told him that I just want to help for a year or 2, but I want to go back into IT, which I really want to do, but it's been rough for me. So I'm hoping this class is going to help me and just push me to the right direction.
Yeah, awesome. I'm definite on that. That with the kind of mentorship we offer here will literally take your hand and lead you through. So it's a good thing that you already have some theoretical background, but even without that, we can go far together. All right, Jeremy, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I'm Luis from
right,
Ghana, originally from Ghana, but I live in Ohio.
Okay.
I'm in the just a second.
Okay. Yeah, while we wait for Jeremy, and any other person? Yeah, I see Ross. Okay, Ross, yeah, we already mentioned.
Okay, guys, I can start now if you wanna. So finally, I'm in a team with the people who have an accent as well as me. Yeah, I'm originally from Ukraine. I live for a while in the United States, and Halimat, we work in the same unit in mental health.
Yeah.
And I was in IT and in administration when I was in Ukraine. But after, moving in the country and change a lot of stuff in my life, not everything easy. Life is how it is. And now I'm just looking for back to IT, we can say this way. And I want to look at the different options, whatever you can give it to us. Because I believe it's interesting. I can enjoy life and do some basic traveling and enjoying life and be at work at the same time.
And be a big boy like the IT guy. Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm just start doing a little bit traveling because of my job. I just want to change a little bit. And during this time, I'm probably gonna do training, but I just want to figure out what can be different. I know you have a clouds, you have different stuff. Just want to get some little bit of information. What particular job required, what kind of trainings, how long it's going to take, and what options, just to get information. I'm pretty sure all of us just want to get some basic information about different options in education.
Different options
the best.
IT,
and probably choose the best whatever people feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's right. All right, sounds good. Thank you, Rosa. So yeah, we are going to have that common foundational knowledge of IT, and then we'll look at briefly the possible option, and then we'll come back and focus on the option that I offer. Yeah, we'll look at that starting right away. All right, awesome. Awesome. Yes. Any other contribution?
I thought Lewis was going to introduce himself before.
Yeah, Lewis,
okay. I'm from Ghana, Louis Amuzu. I'm originally from Ghana, but I live in Ohio. I'm in the military reserves, and I'm trying to switch career into the IT, and I'm crawling. I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Awesome. We have some guys who have completed this training in military. Did you get recommendation from any of them?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah, IT is good for military because, I mean, for you young guys there, because your clearance, the clearance that you have as a military guy really puts you at a big advantage for federal jobs. And then we have had people who did not even complete the course. They just had like the first 3 courses, and then they got great offer. All right, all good. Okay, so yeah, my name is Akin Aregbesola. I've been training for about 30 years actually. I joined IT, started delivering IT courses in 1994, just after I finished university. And then all the way rose to from CEO position in Nigeria, and then and then when cloud came out, we upskilled, and here I am today delivering, not just delivering training in cloud. I see myself more as a coach. So it's not about delivering the training, but mentoring you through and ensuring that you have all of the support that you need to ultimately in the job, and then be able to give you enough practicals, enough exposure, enough projects to build you, not just to get the job, but to retain. And just like Russell is expecting, just make life easy because you already have done a proper foundational skill building at this level. All right, so I'm a coach, IT coach. We deliver training. We have forum outside classes where when you have problem, just take a photo, support system, take a screenshot of the issue you have, put it on the forum, and then somebody will just come and say, oh, this is what you are doing wrong, do it right. So these are the skills that you build, that will build you over time, and then you can point at the experiences gained to say, yes, I have this experience, even though you have not literally worked in an organized system, you still can claim the experience based on the project that you would have completed in the course of the training. All right, whether you go ahead to complete the entire 5 months training or you just get the bit that you need to start your own line, the training would definitely be relevant for starting a career in IT. All right, guys, so let us start. Let's just give you an overview of, bear with me, people like Edu, who are already IT people. So I'm just going to start from the very scratch. And then we'll build from there so that at the end of this 2-hour session, at least you have like 7, 8, 15 terminologies in your head that gives you, oh, this is what IT is all about. Oh, now I have an understanding, okay. And probably even be able to have a sense of direction as to where to go from all of this route with so many branches. Oh, this sounds interesting. This is where I would like to go. All right, so let us start. So we'll do just 1 hour of talking, of laying the foundation, and then thereafter, I'll come back and give us the chance to ask questions as it relates to our specific expectation. All right, everybody good?
Right.
All right. All right, so let's share screen and then start. So, all right, so while this is going on, I might as well off the video so you can focus. Bear with me so we can focus on the Okay, so what is IT? Let's start from the very beginning. What is IT? So the concept of IT starts with one computer. So first of all, if we have a single computer like I imagine you have in front of you, so this is a computer, let's represent a computer. This computer by itself, with you sitting right there using this computer, if it is not connected to any other computer, it's just by itself, and then you're using it for stuff like word processing, spreadsheet management, just on your own, like we used to have in those days. This kind of computer is not so useful. It's very limited in what it can do. In fact, it's almost useless. It is called standalone computer. And even though there are other devices that we connect to the internet these days, from refrigerators to cars to mobile devices and so on and so forth, permit me to use computers as a sample device every time I talk about IT and connectivity. But it may not always be computer, it could be any of those other devices. All right, so you have a standalone computer which is not connected to anything else, it's just by itself. Now, if you had this in a building and this was on the 7th floor of the building, for example, and then you have another computer on the ground floor, and you need to move files between this computer, it means that you would have to physically leave this place, maybe copying some flash drive or something, and then physically move the info from this computer to that computer. That is not a good way. Let's see if anybody thinks. All right. So what we do instead in IT, in fact, this is where IT starts, is to have these computers connected to one another, so that instead of moving from one place to another, sharing resources, anything you share could be a file, could be a software, could be a physical device. We call them resources generally. So what you want to do is to connect all of these computers together, either using cables, so that resources on this computer can now be shared by other computers and invariably by the other users that are connected to the other computers without the need to physically move them from here to here. When you have this kind of connection, this kind of arrangement where all of the computers are connected so that they can, the whole objective of connection, the whole goal is for them to be able to share resources. When you have this kind of situation, you say that you have a computer network. We have a network. It is from this concept of networking that we begin IT. We have a computer network, and it is at this level that we begin to talk about information technology, IT.
Mm-hmm.
So this
please, I can't see the screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought you are just doing it like using our
I
system.
thought I had shared the screen. I'm sorry.
No, it's not showing.
Give me one second. Share. All right, can you see the screen now?
Yes, no.
Okay. So yeah, this were the things I was drawing why you couldn't see. All right, so when we have this kind of arrangement where all of the computers are connected together, just so that they can share resources, we say we have a computer network. Until we have a computer network, we are not talking IT. Everything we are saying is just as standalone, and it's not useful. Standalone. Right. All right. Now, by the way, it is not always wired connection. Sometimes you have wireless connection, like we have this connecting that device, connecting this device, connecting this device, connecting that device to some central equipment that makes it possible for all of them to interconnect. All right. So the resource we are sharing here could be, for example, a printer on the 7th floor connected to this computer. A printer on the 7th floor connected to this computer. So that if this guy on the 1st floor wants to print, he prints through this connection, could be wired or wireless, to this central device. In the case of wired connection, we call this central device a switch. In the case of wireless, we call it access point. Access point. Central device for a wired network. Access point for wireless. All right. So when you have a computer that is holding a resource to which other computers would need to access, you call that computer that holds that resource the server of that resource. In this case, since this is a printer, we are going to call this computer the print server. If this computer was also holding a resource like the internet that connects, this is connected to the internet, and then all these other computers, 1, 2, 3, depend on the internet supplied by this computer 4 to have access to internet, then this computer is the server that serves internet. All right? We will call this computer your internet server, database server, just depending on what they are serving. So that's the loose meaning of the word server. So in a network, you are going to have the computer that is serving something, the server, and then you have other computers that depend on the service of that server. Generally, you call those other computers the client. All right. So there is the concept of client server, which means one computer has a resource that it is making available to all other computers on the network called networking. So that is an area of IT. networking. Some people will just specialize in IT and they are just responsible. They are in charge of all of the software and the services that run within the software to ensure that this network is always up and the data or transfer that this computer 4 wants to make to this computer 2 is always possible. Their own is to ensure that this network is always up. So that is an area, specialization. And the highest level of networking, the company that there are a couple of companies, but the highest, most respected company or that manufactures network devices like switches, especially switches and routers, is Cisco. So when you hear anything Cisco, like Cisco Certified Network Associate, Cisco CCNA, CC, anything, the C there means Cisco. Then that person is a network person. All right. Now, when you have all of this arrangement within a building, or within a home, or no matter how big or how small, or within a home or building, then we call this kind of network local area network. It's a small network. Local area network. When that local area network is within a building, we call it small office, home office. And then when it is within a corporate place, for example, the LAN of a bank is a corporate environment, we call that kind of network, that kind of LAN within a bank, we call it corporate network. What's the difference? Small office, home office is something that you have in your house of 5 computers, your TV and everything. The security there is not as strict as the kind of security you would have on a bank's network. So the difference between the small office, home office network and corporate network, even though they are both within the building, they are both with LANs, is that the corporate network is generally secure, not even secure compared to this, which is not secure. So as we begin to look for job hereafter, people will talk about, oh, we have a corporate network, and for this corporate network, we are looking for a networking person that can do this, or we're looking, they mean that we have a small network that is running within a building. All right, corporate. As for this one, you don't need training. Anybody can just do that. You don't need special training. 1-day training, you'll be able to set up and manage this. This is where you need special training. All right. Now, for corporate networks, the server in the corporate networks that ensures security, that takes care of everything relating to security, that ensures that this entire network is protected, is secure. That server would be the server running the operating system. Let's say this server. And the operating system that will run on this server and also ensure that the entire network is secure by that operating system is generally called a network operating system. For small networks, for LANs, the network operating system that they run is usually, almost automatically, without me saying it, is usually Windows Server operating system. Windows Server operating system. So anywhere you hear, oh, I'm an IT person. What operating system does the network run? Windows Server operating system. That tells you that that person is talking about a local area network that is corporate in nature. He's likely to be working in a corporate environment, like a building of 2, 20, 30, maybe a hotel, all those kinds, within a building, even if the building has up to 300 rooms, it's still a local area network. And because it's running a Windows Server operating system, it means that it is a corporate network. All right, so you are going to find some of your colleagues as IT people who are working in corporate environment, and therefore they are familiar and maybe even expert at the level of managing networks, corporate networks, using Windows Server operating system. People like that are generally called Windows Server Administrator. Admin. All right. But for our level, we are going beyond these small networks. What we want to do here at this our level, as we make progress towards cloud, is instead of small networks, we are looking at a network like this. So you have this. You have that network, for example. In fact, you have this branch. You have a branch office. Maybe we call this headquarters of the office. We call this branch office A. Another branch office somewhere in New York, or maybe that was in New York, maybe in Dallas. So we are connecting all of these branch offices together to form one big network. So we are connecting all of the corporate networks together to form one big network. But more importantly, okay. More importantly, we now also have, and this is the core difference, we now also have customers, our customers of this company, accessing our network from mobile phones, from regular computers, from cars. So aside connecting the corporate networks together to form a bigger network, we also have thousands, in fact, thousands is more, millions of customers. Just like we are using Zoom now as our medium for this training, you can imagine that as we are connected to Zoom and we are right here, there are probably like 1 million other meetings also connected to Zoom using the same facility for this same purpose. So you see that Zoom as a network would probably have like 1 million people right now using that network. So this kind of network that is no longer about 5 computers, 300 computers, 1,000 computers, but about the whole computers at Zoom office with all of the millions of customers connected. So this kind of network is not a small network, it's a big network. And we call this kind of network enterprise. So we have enterprise networks. So compared to local area networks or corporate networks, we have this bigger kind of networks called enterprise. Enterprise. Right? So how do you recognize enterprise networks? Anytime a network is saying we have 400 million, we have 20 million, we have 5 million, we have 700,000 customers, all right? That kind of network would usually be enterprise. Now, for enterprise networks, the operating system that you use to manage the whole enterprise is different from the operating system that manages a corporate network. Do you remember the name of the operating system that manages corporate networks?
Yeah, the Windows Server operating system.
Correct. But in the case of enterprise networks, we are talking about 2 million, 5 million customers connected to a network concurrently. Windows Server will crash. It's not good enough for this kind of big network. So instead, we are going to have a server somewhere that will have the operating system that can manage all of these resources and will not crash. be very stable, even when you put 1 billion customers on that network. That operating system is generally a Unix-based kind of operating system. That is big English. Simply, I'm saying Linux. Linux will be that operating system. So, in this training, the first thing we want to do is train you to be able to manage the servers that would take care of the millions of customers in this kind of enterprise network. So we're going to have a server inside the server here in this office. And in this office server, we are going to load Linux operating system on it. And then we're going to put you there. And then we're going to teach you how you can run command from here that will affect not just the other offices, but like I said, customer is the focus here, the main thing. Like I say, once again, most importantly, all of the customers. So you can manage their devices, you can manage their applications, you can have control over everything on this network, and therefore invariably over what your customers have access to. Okay. Now, everything I have been saying here, I have been imagining that this is a physical computer, that for me to have these 4 computers, I needed to go to the market to buy this physical computer, bring it to the office, plug it in, buy this. And then this office that I'll actually have to go to New York, rent a place or buy some office and then partition into this office. I mean, like the old school way. No, this is old school. This model of setting up offices is no longer in vogue. We call it old school tradition. So things are no longer physical. So in place of this enterprise network that I said I imagined to be a physical network earlier on, what I'm going to have now is the equivalent of this enterprise network. I will still call it enterprise. It's still enterprise. However, it is no longer physical. I don't have to go to the office physically anymore or buy physical equipment. So I'm going to go into cloud, a place called cloud. And then I am in this cloud. What is cloud? It's basically the place where all of the resources, the networking, the switch, the access points, the client server environment, the cables, the computers that you need, everything that we mentioned earlier on for a regular network is already available. In fact, everything and many more that you do not even need right now that you might need in the future, they are all already available in cloud. Right? Put there, provided there by companies called cloud service providers. The 3 big cloud service providers are AWS, owned by Amazon, Azure, owned by Microsoft, and then Google Cloud Platform, owned by Google. Of these 3, this is the biggest cloud provider. So you are going into AWS and you are setting up virtual machines. These things we call computers earlier on, we are going to change the name to virtual machine. So if you need 50 computers, you set up the 50 virtual machines. And by the resources available in cloud and the tools, all of them are connected. And in 20 minutes, you have all of the resources and more that would have taken you 2 to 6 months to set up within a physical environment. So that this stuff that you have here on a physical, you now have the equivalent of it in virtual form. And then we'll now be putting, for example, our Linux operating system in this server, and then using this server to connect not just to other devices that we have set up within the network in cloud, but we can now have all of our customers, you, my trainees, being examples of those customers, connecting to the network. For example, you would be connecting to the network to access an application, for example, that I have launched inside this server that I call my application server. So maybe I design some application, put the application inside with my knowledge of Linux, and then I tell you the application is live. My customer, can you access it now? And then you connect and you say, oh, I can access the application. It's actually doing what you said it would do, and so on and so forth. So what you are going to learn, first of all, how to install and use Linux to manage servers in cloud. And then you are going to go into cloud and learn beyond just loading units and managing servers. What else, what other tools, there are thousands of them, are available in cloud? And that's where you talk about options and opportunities and the different possible areas you can branch into in IT. When you get into cloud, you are going to see them. Then oh, okay, this tool is here. If this tool is here, then what? Whether it's corporate governance, whether it's security, whether it's application development, whether it's DevOps, whether it's different aspects, database management, and so on and so forth. They are all. So when you go into cloud, we're going to have an overview of all of these tools as specified as within the curriculum of Cloud Solution Architect, because there are many certifications in cloud. But we'll be viewing cloud from this lens. Cloud Solutions Architect. What does it mean? It means that if you have a problem that you want to solve, a real life problem that you want to develop a software solution for in cloud, you will be able to go into cloud and set up the infrastructure and architect the infrastructure that you would need to launch that application, that solution into, such that once that solution is resident in this infrastructure, it is highly available, resilient, highly scalable, and cost optimized for all of your customers. So that means that we'll be doing a course called Linux, and then we'll be doing another course called AWS Solution Architect. Now, it is not likely anymore, and this is where we talk about remote jobs at the level of cloud. Although some companies these days are saying, yes, we still have offices that we want to maintain, but majority of the companies and employers are saying, we are happy having all of our infrastructure in cloud. And because cloud is not a physical place that you can go and you can access it from anywhere, is they are saying, okay, stay wherever you want to stay, whether it's your home or just stay outside of our office and remotely access our servers in cloud and work right there as Linux administrator or as cloud solutions architect or as database manager and so on and so forth. This is the concept that we call remote, because your servers are in cloud and you are managing those servers from your laptop, which is not. All right, so before we go deeper than this, let's just take a break here and quickly, not general questions yet, because I have not landed, but on what we have covered so far. Let me just find out what you know so far. So the concept of networking, the difference between small networks called LAN and big networks called enterprise, the different operating systems and why they differ. And then, yeah, let's just do an overview of all of that to see how many of those terminologies you know. Are you ready for some questions? Or do you want to ask me questions first? Any question?
No question right now.
Okay. Yes.
I'm okay with everything. I'm much familiar with all you said.
Okay. Sounds good. Wisdom. Yeah, I think there should be 1 or 2 persons that are completely new here. Let's see. Completely new to IT again.
That's myself.
Okay, at least there's 1 person we are doing it for. All right. So Jeremy, the questions will be focused on you now because you are. All right. So when we are discussing, because the whole the first hurdle to cross is when we sit, or irrespective of, I mean, we'll just gather and then we are discussing IT people, and I say, oh, he's talking about Windows Server operating system. So, oh, I'm an IT person. I use Windows Server. What can you deduce from that statement? As an IT person, my specialization is Windows Server operating system. Anybody can help. It doesn't have to. From that single statement, what can you do? What conclusion can you do? What arm of IT is that person, and what kind of place does he use?
That means the person is a Windows Server administrator.
Okay, so what does that tell us?
That the person manages the server using a particular operating system.
Yes, the operating system is Windows Server. Yeah, what does that tell us? Any other person? So every time I ask a question, I'm looking for a keyword, irrespective of how much English you speak. If you don't mention that particular keyword, you don't get it. Anybody? So
it means you are into infrastructure of service in the cooperative, like managing the infrastructure, like server, desktop, switches, and everything. Using command to operate all the hosts in the complaint.
yeah, that was a lot. So I'll be satisfied to say he manages a LAN, a corporate network. That's just, I just wanted to hear the LAN and the corporate, or any of it. All right. So as a Windows Server administrator, so the conclusion I can draw from that is that, oh, this person works in a corporate environment managing their Windows Server. Of course, the Windows Server controls the entire LAN. Beautiful. All right. So when the Windows Server administrator manages the entire LAN from a Windows Server, that's the computer running the operating system, what is the main focus? What is the main thing that differentiates that kind of network, corporate network, from a small office, home office network? The network of my home. My home has 7 computers connected. Even for my training, maybe 3 computers. So what's the difference between the network in my home and the corporate network? Why don't I just call my home network my corporate network? What's the real difference? Or what must I have on a network before I say, oh, that is a secure network and therefore it's a corporate network?
The home network have a limited security compared to
correct. Security is the key one. Yes, security. So the corporate network is secure compared relative to the home. Correct. What feature, that security that we're talking about, where is it on the corporate network? Is it at the gate managed by security men? Is that the kind of security we need?
No.
No,
It's
it is resident inside the operating system. Correct. That security feature that we are talking about, security, is inside the operating system. In this case, inside our Windows Server operating system. So that is what carries the security. Good. Do you know what a switch is on a network? Switch on a network, in a local area network. Have you heard the word switch before? You could have different meanings, but within a local area network, what is a switch? So switch will be the central device. This central device through which all of the network components are connected via cables. right? So this is the CPU, right? If this was not a wired connection, if it was a wireless connection where I don't need to actually plug cables, one end to the computer and the other end to the switch, then we'll be talking about wireless connection. In that case, we'll be talking about access. No. Okay, all of those were just preambles. Now let's come to the real thing. What's the difference? How would you recognize an enterprise network compared to a corporate network? How can you, what do you look out for to say, wow, that's an enterprise network? Oh, mine is just a corporate network. That's the enterprise.
Yeah, an enterprise network serve let's say like a state of, like a big state that's involved.
So customers.
Right.
We're talking about millions of customers
Of
and
customers.
devices on an enterprise network compared to a few thousand or even hundreds for corporate network. It's a bigger kind of network in terms of the devices, user, customers, that is it. Yeah, that's the difference, right? So typically, a corporate network will use a server operating system. What operating systems do enterprise networks use?
A Unix-based operating system called Linux.
Correct. All right.
So, sir, please, sir, if I may ask,
Yes.
with the way technology is changing every day, are we getting rid of Windows? Because it seems Linux is one of the things that is running now. I don't know. I'm just like.
Yeah. No, we're not getting rid of Windows. Windows is still relevant within corporate environments. So corporate environments still exist, and we still use Windows Server there.
Okay.
Yes. But just that the level of IT that we'll be talking about, we are yeah, let me say bigger than Windows. So we'll just take it from Windows. No, Windows still has its place.
Okay.
Let us say at the family level, we use Windows, but at national level, we use Enterprise. So as long as, yeah. Windows still there. Okay. Now, let's bring all of this back home. Let's relate this to what we'll be doing as IT people. And what part of all of this would bring us the six-figure jobs that we are looking for in the next 6 months. Very bad. Okay, so let's come here. Okay. So generally, what's in vogue now, the thing that is changing the world now, is that everything from robots to everything, like you may have already noticed, is being converted to applications, and applications are hosted in cloud. All right? Even if you say you have all of the money and you want to stay old school, you will not be able to compete with people who host their applications in cloud. If you go and rent a warehouse and put physical machines there and host your application there, you'll be out of the market in 2 months because of the advantages that these cloud-based applications would have over your own. As long as you're in the same market, they will throw you out. All right? So customers all over the world are accessing Zoom, they are buying Tesla, they are accessing machines like robots application, they are accessing learning portals, data insight, all kinds of solutions that are hosted in cloud. So they are connected to cloud. So this is what's in vogue. Everything is being converted to some software version called application, and they are being hosted in cloud. Okay. Now, the people who develop these applications, they are called developers. So that is one area of IT. Developers, what you used to call programmers. We call them developers. they write codes or coders, but developers. All right. So we have people around the world who would develop the right codes. Okay, so you have this idea of what you want to do. Oh yeah, that's fine. In fact, okay, let's say everything. And then they are able to write the codes and convert your idea to computer codes. And then they put that code in a central storage place that we call repo. Don't worry about this step for now. I just want to use it in the present. So when the codes are present here in the repo, this is the code that will eventually be built into application and then deployed to your server in cloud. For you to be able to come into cloud and set up these servers and put your applications and put the right security and make it highly available, put the high scalability and a lot of other things, you must have learned cloud, AWS solution. This is what AWS solution architects do. Architects. We already explained that. And then these are the developers. Now, between these codes and this application, a lot of things happen. A lot happen in between here. All right. So in my own course here, what we are going to learn is we are not going to be developers. We are not going to learn how to code. There are, as you are in this class trying to learn what we are learning now, there are other people in other classes learning how to code, how to take the idea of the business owner, hear him out. All right. So a business analyst will go to the business owner, and then the business owner will speak business language to explain to the business analyst, this is what I want to achieve. I want to build a solution that when you have your laptop and it scans your face, it connects to your bank account, and then withdraw something from your bank account and give it to whatever it is. All right, something like that, for example, without you touching anything, just use it your face. And then the business analyst is now the person who would take this English from the businessman and paraphrase, convert some kind of to technical terms that the coders would understand. And then the coders who are technical people, they are not English people, they are not able to say, okay, that's what you, okay. So it takes a simple statement and breaks it down into many statements. It's called requirement analysis. But all right, so the coders now, this is where the technical part starts. Before here, the business analyst, the product owner, the Scrum Master, they are doing the non-technical part. Then when they are ready for the technicalities, then they start with the developer. Developer write the code. Between the codes and here, this has to happen. The code will need to be converted from codes to artifact. And then from artifact, it will need to be converted to image. And then the image may even need to be stored in a central place so that in the future, we have access to that image. And then we can pull the image and then use Docker to containerize the image and then use Ansible. So there are other tools that we need here before we now ultimately successfully deploy that application, maybe not even to one server, maybe to African server, Europe server, Russia server simultaneously. All right. So what we'll be learning as DevOps engineers is how do we take this code by the developers and build this pipeline that would convert that code to the application and ultimately deploy the application to servers that our customer can access. So there are tools here. There are tools from GitHub to Maven to Jenkins to Docker Hub to Docker to Ansible. We'll learn how to use all of these tools, staying here on our system and controlling this entire pipeline from this system. We are going to have Linux installed here and all of these tools installed here from where we can sit at home and be able to manage all of this pipeline that would support the deployment and management of this application for our employer. And on top of that, we should also be able to set up a monitoring system that would always look out for, that will always monitor the applications running inside this machine, as well as the machine resources, and be able to give feedback to us so that anytime there's a problem or when there's an impending problem, we even know beforehand and we're able to offer solutions, such that our customers must not have even 1 second of downtime. Imagine that we are using Zoom now, Zoom goes down. Next time, I will not be able to, I will not going to look for alternatives to Zoom next time. Is Zoom not going to lose millions of customers if it goes down for 1 second? Maybe the first time we can pardon. Okay, we missed it. If it happens second time, we'll look for an alternative. So this Zoom that is hosted here, you do not want it to go down. So therefore, you want to monitor it so that even before anything like going down happens, you already know and you do the appropriate, you configure the appropriate tool and do the appropriate thing from here to ensure that this whole pipeline is maintained and is highly available. So as DevOps engineers, you are going to start from where the coders, the developers stop, take the code from there, build the codes into application and deploy the application in servers. So for that reason, you do not only need to learn Linux and how to use Linux operating system to manage this entire process. You also need to learn cloud to know how these servers are set up and how applications are deployed within the server. And then AWS. And then you also need to learn infrastructure as code. What does that mean? It is not enough, guys, to just go and learn cloud and say, because you now know how to deploy servers manually, you are now ripe for a 60-god job. No, you are not likely to get a job. You must also learn how, let me show you a demo of that. Can you see my screen? Can you see my, theITern.com?
Right. Yes.
Okay. So let's quickly go into cloud, for example, AWS. It's easier than drawing and trying to draw. So this is AWS cloud. I'm going to sign in and then I'm going to, all right, gentlemen, that's it. I'm in cloud now. And then there are so many services in cloud, as you can see. We're going to learn as many of these services that are covered under AWS Solutions Architect. So what I want to show you here is that I'm using my mouse to click stuff and to set up servers and so on and so forth. You see me using my mouse? Your ability to come in here and use mouse to click stuff, to create blockchain, to create database, to create front-end web application cannot give you job in the current robotics and so on. What will give you job is the ability to do the equivalent of using mouse to work in this console environment, to be able to come to this kind of environment that is non-graphical, that is command line interface. And then when you get to this kind of environment, you are going to use commands. All right? Linux commands and Terraform-based commands to enter a command that would go into cloud and do something and set up something. So when you walk from here, running codes that will go into cloud to do stuff, you say you are running infrastructure as code. Infrastructure. You are setting up your infrastructure in cloud using code. So it is at the point where you can walk from this environment using infrastructure as code to make things happen here. That is called automation. Coming here to do things manually, no employer will hire you. But your ability to run a code from here that will make things happen there with this automation is from the point that you now start to say, I am an IT person. I am looking for work. This is where you start to look for them. All right. So the first 3 courses that you will learn on your route to being a DevOps engineer, let's go back to the drawing, is where is my drawing? Linux, because that is the foundation from where you manage all servers, all users, all applications. Cloud, this is where you are going to set up the servers, applications, users that you would use your Linux to manage. And then infrastructure as code. This is the ability to not do things manually, but run things as code. Because once you have it as code, and then you run it and it works, then in future, you just run the code instead of spending 3 days to set up a particular infrastructure. You just run that code that you already have, and in 3 minutes, or maybe 10 minutes, that whole infrastructure that initially took you maybe 3 weeks to set up would be up in 10 minutes. This is what employers are looking for. So at this level now, you now say you are a cloud automation engineer. You can start to look for them. However, on top of this, you may also want to go ahead to learn this tool, this tool, this tool, this tool, this tool, and how you can integrate all of the tools together to form an automated pipeline, so that as these guys are writing their code and dropping the codes in the repo, your own pipeline is picking the code and converting the code to application and automating the process of deploying the application into servers. Wow. This is what makes you a DevOps engineer. Engineer, because these are tools, these are engineering tools, not physical tools, software tools, and cloud-based tools that you would use to set up this system. This is engineers set up things, right? You set up this system, and then you use your software spanners and nodes and bolts to tie all of this together. And then you open this tab and you see that everything is flowing through your pipeline without any leakage, and it's delivering your raw oil as deposited in code form by the developer to the refinery and the operations people, which is operations, and then the end product is being viewed and used by the whole world. All right, so it is at this level now that you say you are a DevOps engineer, and then you cannot go into the market to look for a job as DevOps engineer. And the reason we are doing the course is because the jobs are there. If the jobs are not there, then it's useless teaching you all of this, and at the end of the day, you are unable to get it. And then the start point for DevOps engineer at the level of, oh, you are completely new to IT. You just learned it now, and now you know it enough. Somebody like Jeremy to go and get a job. The start point would be, minimum start point would be $100,000 per annum. Some people at that level will get 110. Some people will get 120. I think the highest entry level that I've gotten for my training is 120. But that's not to say that people don't get 150, 170, 180. But it's not likely if you do not already have some 2 years or 3 years of IT experience upon which you are building this training. All right. So somebody like Jeremy will go through this training, and then you understand everything we have learned. Once you do not understand, you go back to the videos, you watch all over again, you practice the projects, and you know the projects enough to put it on your resume and be able to defend it on your resume. You'll be looking at this for a start. And then 2, 3, 4 years down the line, of course, we can go to a house 350. But for somebody like, who was that? Was it Louis? Already had the 3 years of Tejumola, then you might be looking at an entry level of, we've had, no, not entry level in that case, because they already have experience. We've had a few people who built their DevOps skills on existing IT experience, doing 250 on their first DevOps. All right. So this training will be technical, and it will be covering all of the tools that we need. However, there's one more thing before I allow you to ask questions. One more thing. You see, we talked about DevOps being engineering, right? So between here and here, there is a lot to learn, a lot of tools to learn to make you DevOps engineer. So Microsoft as a company looked at all of these tools and decided, you know what, instead of people going to learn this tool, learn this tool, learn this tool, learn this tool, and coming back, why don't we just set up a platform where all of these tools are already integrated? So all you do is sit on this single platform and implement your entire DevOps without you needing to go bring this tool, bring that tool, bring this tool, bring this tool. And so they provided all of the tools in a central place. And then earlier on, I was telling you that you needed to be able to do stuff from the command line interface to run your infrastructure as code. And then Microsoft said, no, you don't. If you know infrastructure as code comes with command line, fine, beautiful. But even if you don't know it, we can provide a graphic user environment for you, interface, where you can do the equivalent of running code, and you can do everything within graphic user environment. So they created this software as a solution and made the software public so that you don't necessarily have to go this hard way, relatively, to learn it, but you can use this simple method to learn DevOps. So they created this platform and they call it Microsoft Azure DevOps. So what am I saying with all of that? I'm saying that you now have the option is becoming popular now, the option of not learning the traditional DevOps the way I explained it here, so that you now learn the simplified version. In other words, how you can use this solution to implement your DevOps. So that is a different course called Microsoft Azure DevOps. But because this one is harder and you really need to put two together, I'll call this DevOps Engineer, but I'll call this one DevOps Administrator. So instead of leaving you confused as to which one should I do, which one should I not do, or which is better, so we are changing our curriculum. The way I deliver training, I'm changing it to, you know what? I am now going to teach you Linux. I'm going to teach you AWS. And then I'm going to teach everybody the Azure, Microsoft Azure DevOps. Microsoft Azure is different from Microsoft Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps is a particular solution. Azure is the entire cloud. So I'm going to teach you all of this so that by the time you learn all of this within the first 2 months, you can put your resume out there to begin to look for work as Microsoft Azure DevOps Administrator. And then if you get a job at that level, oh, beautiful, great. If you now decide that, oh, that was good, I understood that, but I want to go deeper into IT and be more technical, they will now do the regular traditional DevOps, which is infrastructure as code, and they will now do DevOps engineer. So I'm going to call this first one the basic DevOps, and then I'm going to call this one the intermediate level DevOps. This one will be 2 months of training, and this one will be 2 months. And then there is a third part that I'm going to call Kubernetes, deployment to Kubernetes. And then this will be the advanced form. So if you have the time, the money, the understanding to complete all 5 months training, wow, then you are not missing anything, irrespective of whether the opportunity is coming from here or it's coming from here, then you are open to the opportunities, 100%. Whereas this guy may be open to only 20% of the entire opportunity. But again, it is becoming popular. It is becoming popular, but it cannot still compete with the traditional DevOps in terms of the opportunity that are available out there. All right. So to conclude this overview, there are different aspects of IT. There is the Linux administrator part, where you just know Linux and you can manage servers. But these days, you can hardly do anything. Even if you know anything very well in IT, you must be able to apply that anything to cloud. So it is everything you know now is almost useless if you cannot implement that thing in cloud. Therefore, it's almost always compulsory to learn cloud. And when we talk about cloud, there are 3 main providers. So it is always good to start with the most popular provider. So you cannot claim to know Google Cloud if you don't already know AWS. It's not good. I mean, it's not industry recognized. Before you know the other 2, if you want to learn the other 2, you must first of all learn the most popular. This guy owns like 33% of the market out of hundreds of providers. So you cannot ignore it and go and learn the one that has only 15% of the market and claim that you know cloud. You must first of all know it. And then, of course, by the time you now know cloud, this is just a simple platform that you can learn in 1 month. And then with this 2 months training, you can go start looking for it. It's possible to get jobs. It's very possible. People are already getting jobs. But I don't want to, it's not a promise. However, for people coming to IT for the first time, 2 months of training may not be enough. There are some sharp guys, there are some smart guys that have been doing so much hard work on their own, and all they just need is somebody to just teach them, a few things here and there, and then they are ready. But there are other guys who these things are completely new to, and then the 2 months may not be enough, and they may want to go all the way to know everything very well before they ultimately do it. So this is the breakdown. And my specialization is training you to become DevOps administrator and DevOps engineer, amongst the many other specializations that you might discover in the course of the training. Like we just had an overview of earlier on. These are the one. This is the one that I'll be focusing on. DevOps. And you know what DevOps engineers do? DevOps people, they take code from developers, and then they build the codes into applications and release and deploy those applications to where? To cloud server, so that they are now available. All right, guys, I'll let you ask questions now. I'll take all of your questions, and then.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask a very quick few questions because I have to back to my work.
All right, no problem.
Is there any chance you can give us like some kind of specification? What exactly we're gonna learn? Like what type of information, for example, whatever you're just talking like few different things, not Microsoft Word and all other stuff, and how long estimation for some specific course and what prices?
Okay, so can you see my screen now?
Okay, I see.
Yes. So we're going to learn cloud server administration with Linux. That's one course.
Okay.
All right. So what are we going to learn under that? If we click here now, we are going to see that you will build on the basic commands you learned in the first month of training to create and manage user groups, permissions, applications, intermediate. So this is what we're going to learn. I mean, a summary. If I had the space, I would in Linux, under Linux.
Okay, and one more question.
Okay.
What usually time you start?
We'll start at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and then we'll do 2 days a week. So for Linux, it will be Mondays and Wednesdays.
And just one more question. What days?
Yeah, let me quickly finish that question. Sorry. So we'll do Linux. After Linux, in the first 1 month, the next 1 month we'll do AWS Solutions Architect. You see?
Yes.
And under that, we'll learn these courses. And then we'll do infrastructure as code. And then we'll now do DevOps part 1. I divided DevOps into 2. And don't have a review this part. Don't worry about it. And then DevOps part 2. This Microsoft Azure, in fact, I think this is a bit confusing. Let me open. So I download the brochure. Can you see me downloading brochure? This is more like it. So 5 months training in DevOps engineering. You may start to look for work after the first 2 months. All right. So this is the training proper. beginners level. First 2 months, we'll do introduction to tech, which will take you through Linux and AWS, and then we'll do Azure. These are the prices. Mondays and Wednesdays, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Texas time. So after those 2 months, then, of course, you start to look for job. You prepare your resume and start to look for jobs. While you're attending interview, you may want to go from the basic, from the beginner's level to intermediate level by completing these 2 courses, infrastructure as code and CI/CD pipeline automation at this price. And then that is fine. If you get a job, oh, beautiful. If you think, man, let me just complete this thing and be rest assured that then you want to go on to the advanced level, deployment to Kubernetes at that cost. So altogether, 5-month course, we are looking at about $4,200 thereabout, split into monthly payments of $1,000, then $600, and $600, and so on and so forth over the 5 months. As for the details that we will learn under Microsoft Azure, we will learn this. Look at it. The first 4 weeks, we'll learn Linux and cloud. And then in the second 4 weeks, we will go deep into Microsoft Azure and show you how to build pipelines, how to release and deploy applications, and so on. And then for the next 2 months, that we call DevOps Engineering, we are going to use the first 2 weeks to go deeper into cloud, and then use the next 2 weeks to go deeper into infrastructure as code. And then we'll use the remaining 4 weeks to learn all of the tools that I mentioned earlier. Well, I just mentioned them, I didn't expect you to grasp it. We'll learn about Git and GitHub, about Jenkins, about pipelines. This is the real DevOps engineer, right? And then the last part, the last 1 month of the 5 months, we'll learn how to deploy application to Kubernetes. And then we'll cover all of it, how to set up tests, the production environment, and so on. So these are that's the course breakdown. I thought everyone already has a copy of that. And in those 5 months, we would have covered so many projects, such that there is no interview. I mean, literally speaking, there's no interview question that you should not be able to answer once you have covered these different projects. These projects are not separate. They are the projects that we would have learned as part of this whole 5 months training. It's not like after the 5 months, then we'll go back. So as part of the 5 months training, we'll be deploying all of these projects. We'll deploy that project, we'll deploy this project, we'll deploy this project. So this is what is going into your resume. You are literally copying all of these projects and putting your resume to say, I have done this before. This is what the employer will say, oh, you said you have done Ansible application deployment into containers. What did you do? And then you use your practical experience that you gained in the training to tell them what you did. All of it. That's just a little bit about me. Yes. Did I answer your question?
I'm sorry, I have one more question. I don't want to be rude. I'm just was driving to my work and I have to be in a minute in my work.
No
Is
problem.
there any chance would you be able send to emails this file so I can look at the schedule and everything else?
Yes, actually. I'll just send you this link, this website, and then once you get the link, click download brochure.
Okay.
Yes. That's Rosé, right? I think I already actually sent you. Don't worry, even if I have not, I'll just send it.
We have some link which is you give us before, and then this link gonna be but I also need how much I have to pay and what day, so I can adjust my schedule.
Yeah, it's already in the link. Let me show you one more time. So when I click that link, it brought me here.
Appreciate.
Yeah. So can you see it here? Everything's in the link. So this is the course, how much to pay. For example, this first one now that we are starting, what we are going to talk about, what are we learning under Introduction to Tech? Let's quickly go down and see. Look at it. So what we are going to learn, Microsoft Azure and everything there, it will be first 1 month, $1,000, and then the second 1 month to complete the 2 months training, $600. So altogether, it's $1,600 to become Microsoft Azure administrator.
How often you do these courses?
Sorry, how often? For now, every month. Every month, yes. Until maybe we become so full that we don't have to do it.
Sir, I want to ask this question. Do you give materials out, like
definitely,
during the course? Do you have material to read and go through?
Yes, yes, definitely. So we have manuals. They're already prepared in the form of manual. Let me show you one, for example. For AWS manual, for example. All right. So this is like the material for how to create IAM account. All right. How to set up your SSH EC2 instance, and then type this here, type this here. We have material for each course. How to do load balancing, lecture 2, load balancing, auto scaling. It has step by step. And then we'll use this material to do the practicals in class. So you have access to both the material and the video. How do you take a snapshot of an EBS? What's the meaning of EBS? We'll demonstrate it if I have to do it. All right.
Elastic block storage.
Yes. What about Route 53, RDS, Elastic Cache? What's the meaning?
Domain name service for
yes. Yes. So yes, we do have material. This is too much.
Okay.
All right. Yes. Questions, please.
So, and again, the 1,000, can I split it into two? Then
yes, you can. I mean, I understand that
it's hard for now.
Yeah, it's hard. But these are big courses, you know. These are 6-figure courses.
I know.
It can be cheaper. Yeah. If you request specially like you just did, would allow. But if we didn't have this interaction, I didn't know you, then
so, sir, but I thought the website, you don't just upload this new website, because the one I saw before was like 600. I'm trying to.
Okay. So, yes, the one you saw before, we did. Look, you see this course, Microsoft Azure.
Yes, sir.
This is a new development. This one was not. We're just starting this with your class. It's a new development.
Okay.
So the curriculum now is different from what we had as of last
week,
month.
I believe.
So we're always in the market looking for what are employers looking for. So we're always changing. We're always changing. Yeah. But the good news is that even though we have added this new course that was not available last month, the overall fee for the whole course has now reduced by $100. If you are looking at it individually, it seems expensive, but if you look at it overall, the price has reduced from $4,300 to $4,200, even though we are now introducing a new course.
So for those that have paid 600 for the one that we saw before,
they are my students now. Don't worry about them. Let's not talk about it.
All right,
they're already my students.
Second question
I'm taking care of all my students. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for that. I truly appreciate your way of teaching. My question now is that before I finally find my way to find the money, because I had to I just want to get something right with myself to know that I'm on the right path with IT. I don't just want to be reading. I need some practical. Linux, I was able to just, okay, let me go on, because I read through the website and I said, okay, it seems Linux is taking over everything. Let me just go on my own way and see what is this Linux guy that is taking all over the world. So are there list of particular commands that Linux that we have to know? Because Linux have a bunch of commands that I'm like, am I going to cram all this to be able to be a DevOps engineer, or is there a limit to what we just have to know? Because I've seen thousands of commands on Linux, and I'm already tired of this. I'm like, what is going on?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to leak my curriculum. I'm not able to give you my curriculum to see what I'm teaching. So the whole essence of paying and becoming a trainee is for me to tell you, you don't need all of those thousands. Just know this. But I will not be able to give you that until you are my trainee.
Okay. Because when I saw those things, I was like, how do I cram all this and still know this RBS, this EB? I don't want to get myself crazy.
I know. It's really, it's a different feeling when you're amongst, like you guys are like, we are 9 here now, we're interacting, everybody's making contribution. It's a different feeling. It becomes really easier than when you lock yourself up by yourself and you are struggling by yourself to do everything.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Linux is like the most interesting part of the book. Those commands, there are ways you practice them in project-based formats, and then they will just stick.
Okay, I see. That's good. God will help us all.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yes, questions?
So the next class for this class will be on next week, Monday. We start fully, right?
Yes. So to answer that question, yes. This today is just an overview, just to get started. So next week, Monday, we are starting with Linux. And then we'll do Linux for 2 weeks, and then we'll do AWS for 2 weeks, just to get familiar with enough commands and enough cloud experience to be able to go into Azure DevOps. Yes, you are right. So next week, Monday, we start the real training.
So are we having any other like idea of what, I don't know what's English to use for that? Are we having any class this Wednesday?
What's today? Today is already Wednesday.
Oh my God, today is Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm lost.
So classes are Mondays and Wednesdays. So since today is already Wednesday.
So Monday we're starting fully.
Yes.
Okay, 6th of March. That's good. All right, sir. That's good.
Monday we're starting fully. So I'll take you introduction to tech just to make sure you have a proper foundation. And then we'll now bring in somebody, another trainer. You know, our Azure DevOps is a new course. This is the first time we are delivering it.
Right. I saw that also. I'm like, are we changing website or am I in the right?
No, this is the first time. So I'm bringing in somebody who uses Azure DevOps every day. He works with this, so he's more experienced with Azure DevOps than me. So you are going to have an Azure DevOps training. Okay. I'll take you the first 1 month, and then that trainer will take you Azure DevOps, like it's eating very, very smooth.
Quick question: do we get certified after every step that we complete?
No, not after every step. So the only certification that we recommend, so that you don't overload yourself with, will be AWS Certified Solution Architect. So where is that? Will be here. Will be here. So this certification alone by itself is enough recognition. It's heavy enough to let employers know that irrespective of where you are coming from, you are now an IT person at intermediate level. So we recommend this. So how much is it? How do you write it? What are the supports that we give? We'll tell you about all of that in the class. The AWS. This alone by itself is enough. You don't need to write any other. Well, unless you really, really want to, but you don't need to. Very good. AWS Solution Architect. You just want $50. But it carries so much. Good question. Okay, so we do have a lady in the class. Yes.
Okay, so I will leave now, but I'm gonna text you on WhatsApp and to know before Friday.
Yes. So I'll share the link. Once I get your payment, I will form a group, a WhatsApp group, add you to the group, and then I'll share link to the Monday class on that group.
Okay.
Yes. All right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And then the rest of us will still have like 30 minutes together. We'll ask questions and rub minds and get you on the proper footing for morning.
Can you scroll back up to the top of the page for a sec, please?
So,
Yeah. The price and Yep, right there. So unfortunately, this is probably taking us back, but I wasn't able to join at the beginning of the class. So I kind of want to understand the I guess the flow of the class. So I know you said at the beginning we're doing you're introducing us to technology, and then Linux and all that, and then the following month we're doing Azure DevOps. And then after that, we're training to become a DevOps engineer. So when I'm looking at the training schedule, at what point are we taking the AWS certification?
You are taking the AWS class in cloud. So I'm going to change that to AWS so that you know. So by cloud, we mean AWS. So you are taking the course here. And for the certification, it's up to you. So why don't you just complete the whole training before you now take the certification?
Okay.
I would recommend that. Although I have somebody who is actually writing certification today, even though we just completed, he didn't want to wait for the whole training. So it's up to you. But my own recommendation is, yeah.
And my my next question will be, where I guess the overall goal of the class is to become a cloud engineer.
Yes.
Okay. So when you're at Azure DevOps, that's the fundamentals. And then when you get to the DevOps engineer, is that what you will be considered a cloud engineer when you complete that section?
Okay. So you could be considered a cloud engineer even at this level, when you are able to set up cloud infrastructure with, even at this level, this AWS infrastructure as code. So cloud engineer just means that you are able to go into cloud and put stuff together, put tools, services together to build something, to build an infrastructure where application can live. Yeah, it's a general term. But within cloud engineering, we now have DevOps engineers, we have database engineers, we have database administrators, we have developers, and so on and so forth. These are specific. Yeah. So yes, at this level, after Azure DevOps, you see you are DevOps administrator. But at this level of cloud to infrastructure with Terraform, you can begin to say you're a cloud engineer.
Okay.
And then at this level, you are no longer a general cloud engineer, you are now specifically a DevOps engineer. So DevOps is one aspect of cloud engineering.
Okay. And my next question will be, if you have already taken like an AWS certification, right? What level can you join the class, like this particular class? Like if you don't want to go through, the intro to tech, the Azure DevOps, the AWS cloud, what point is it possible to join the class, on the
DevOps.
right there?
Yes, it's possible. Have you done Terraform as well?
No.
Okay, so it's possible to say, you know what, I've already learned all of this on my own. I don't need them. Let me just join at this point. And then once you join at that point, if you are doing well, you would know. If we keep referring to this and we feel, man, looks like I missed something there, I need to redo it and go back here. Or you should be able to cope. You have a good foundation.
Okay, sounds good. And I'm assuming that the timeline is chronological. So meaning that this class for cloud is going to start in the next 2 months.
2 months? No, really?
Oh, because the beginner's level is 2 months. So the next.
Yes, but we have other classes. This is not our meeting. We'll have people at this level right now. And then once they are done with that level, they'll move.
Okay. So my next question then will be to, I guess, contact you privately to know when the cloud class is starting.
Yes, but for now,
to be able to join.
First of next month.
Okay, for now it's first of next month.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you so much for answering.
You're welcome.
So, sir, I'm sorry, please. So, with the first 2 months, if completed the first 2 months, is it possible for someone to be able to apply for,
Yes,
let's say,
definitely.
like a Linux system administrator somewhere?
You apply as a Azure DevOps.
Okay, so
Yeah.
like after the first 2 months, is possible, right? To apply for like an Azure DevOps.
I just said yes emphatically.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the reason we're introducing that, because we saw opportunity there. Oh, man, if it can be taught in 2 months and people get jobs, then why are they going through this stress? So let's quickly prepare them
Right.
for this job. Unfortunately, I'm not able to give you any testimonial right now because it's the first time we are doing. So I'm hoping to
Right.
get testimonial from you. Somebody did it and within 2 months.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. People are doing. There are other trainers that are delivering and yes. We'll take our time to complete that, practice and practice and practice, and then put it on your resume and then put yourself out there. Okay. By the time you attend the first 3-4 interviews. Okay.
Oh, I have another question, sir.
Okay.
And my question would be in reference to, you know, jobs and resume and all that. Do you have, is this like a how can I put this? Is this like a consulting service or a company that you can actually put on your resume and say that you did work there using your projects? Like, how do you build your portfolio?
If you are completed the 5-month program, yes. But we'll discuss that at this level, continuous deployment, because we do have a sample resume for you that already contains all of these projects. So you just take the resume and adjust to suit you. If there's something you're not very comfortable with that you want to change, yes, you can take the training as part of your experience.
Okay.
So if the training taught you to do this and you can do it, yes. So as long as you are referring to the training as your experience, then you are free to mention us as the place where you got the experience. But we do know you as our training. So yeah, generally we allow that, but we'll discuss that more specifically as it will.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you did miss a lot because we already explained some of those concepts here and how everything here works together to consolidate your own position here and give us.
And how will we be able to get the recording for, you know, someone like me who joined late? How do I get that?
This is being recorded. Normally we should have a group, and then I'll make this available in a group. But I don't have your index. Okay, just do me a message, maybe in another like 2 hours after we complete this training. Yes, on WhatsApp.
Okay. Okay, sounds good.
I'll just send you the link. Yeah. And anyone who wants the recording, yeah, we'll just send the link. Yeah. All right, guys. There are more questions. We'll take them. We're not doing anything technical today. And then, of course, you can go back to, yeah, this is still a little bit different from, I mean, this not exactly, this was valid as of last month. So I'm working in another 5 days, this will change to reflect what we saw here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, sir, do we write code, like, because I know we don't write code. Do we have to have the idea of like writing program in any form?
Yes, there is some, although we prefer to call it script. We are going to write, we talked about infrastructure as code, right?
Right.
We talked about infrastructure as code. So yes, we are going to write codes that will deploy this infrastructure. But we're not really writing codes like we're writing programs. So what we're doing is we are going to the documentation to copy the template and paste, and then just change 1 or 2 things in the template. Maybe change the name of our resource. So the templates are already there. They are in different documentation.
I see. Okay.
Yes. So all of the codes here, unlike even in programming these days, the templates are there. For example, in Azure DevOps, you are going to deploy a .NET application. And then you are going to wonder, well, I don't know anything about programming. How am I going to? Because the template is there. You're not even going to write one line of code, yet you would form an application on your own and deploy it. And then, so yeah, templates are everywhere. Copy, paste, then modify. Sometimes you don't even need to modify because there's a different department whose job it is to write and modify code. They are the developers. But as far as the scripting part of the project is concerned, we'll show you where to get all of it.
Okay.
And when we say documentation, it means that the owners of the tool for writing the code, they have already written all the possible kind of codes that you need and stored them somewhere for you. It will be too technical for me to take you there. So once you have the link, just go there and then you search. I want to set up an EC2 with your code. And then enter, and then to take you there, you just copy it. Oh, this is EC2. Just copy it, and then come here. And then you come to, and you say new file. And you say I want to create whatever. Then you come here, you paste the code here, and then you modify. All right, so yeah, well, yes, I don't know if I answered that too much, but basically, we're writing codes, but nothing to worry about. Very, very simple.
Okay.
It is your ability to work from this environment compared to working from this environment that makes you an IT person, a six-figure IT person. So at the beginning, you are going to learn to work from this environment.
Okay.
Then as the advanced stage, you are going to learn to work from this environment. It's when you are now able to work. The more comfortable you are working from this environment, the higher your pay. When you hear people doing 350, 400K job, it is likely because they are almost entirely able to work from this environment. Even though they are working in this environment, they are working in this environment from this environment and will hardly have need to come here to get anything because they can do all things from here. Then they are the IT people. It's time. By the time you complete the 5 months training, you should be able to do like 50 to 60% of work from here, but at that level, you still need to occasionally come here to do stuff. But as you gain more and more experience and you learn more and more, you learn to be independent of the console going. Because your employer is not going to give you, it's not likely to give you access to the console anyway. It's likely to give you access to the infrastructure through here.
Okay.
Someday you are going to learn to be able to just do stuff from here, type commands, starting with Linux. You are going to say, wow. Last year, 1 year ago, I didn't know all of it. You may be able to say ls-l, for example. What do I have here? Oh, okay. That is not Linux. Okay, I go back to Linux. I clear the screen. I say ls-l. What do I have? Okay, take me into VI, into Jenkins file, and then you come. This is Linux. Then you say, okay, this is an example of the code I was telling you about.
Okay.
I didn't write this code. I didn't write this. I just copied it. I'm going to come here and say, agent any actually no, you are going to deploy this, and then I just change something and I save, save, quit, ban, and then I'm back. And then I'm going to say I shouldn't be here. Let me take one step back. No, that's Linux. If I don't know Linux, I will not be able to work here at all. I will not even know what to do here. We are starting to learn. We are starting the whole training.
Sure.
Yes, let's ask questions or let's contribute.
So hopefully by Monday, when we start, we'll have the right Linux platform to use? Because I noticed we have so many different Linux.
We are going to go into cloud and set up a server in cloud from day one.
Okay.
We'll come here, we'll set up a server. All right, so we are going to come here and say, set up an instance. And then we are going to call this our Linux server for practice. And then what kind of Linux do we want there? We want Ubuntu there. What version of Ubuntu? So for what size of, and then we just set it up here, and then we'll see what key are we using. And then we'll say launch thing. All right, so our instance is up. So let's start practicing in it. That's all. So we'll go to the instance. I will take the server that we just created now, and then we'll wait for this connect button to come up. And we'll connect to it, start practicing, finish. That's the platform that we'll be using.
Okay.
Yes, and if we want to SSH into it, we're going to come here. You know what? So we'll connect, and we'll say, we can SSH, which is what we'll do, but for now, just say connect directly. Here we are. This is the platform that we'll be using. So no improvisation or no simulation, the real thing. This is the real thing. Cloud server in cloud. We are practicing live with the live IP address. Declare print working directory. What do we have there? Okay, so I'm already practicing it. File one. All right, let's kind of cool, and so on and so forth. All right, so that's the platform. Any other question? Also, I'm done with terminate the instance. Go back there. Okay, this instance we are done with you. We don't want it anymore. Okay. By the time we do that 5-6 times, you will know enough Linux to go start looking for one. But of course, because anybody can learn that and look for one, the entry barrier will be low. It means that everybody want to know something that many people do not know. All right, questions? All right, guys, if there are no questions, there's no need to keep you. All right, so at this stage, you want to go ahead with the Monday class. At this stage, you make your payments, and then we'll send you the link, and then you join Monday class. And then I think there was somebody who made old payment. Are you here? You made the $600 instead of 1,000?
Yes, I made $600.
Oh, okay, Jeremy, yeah?
Yes, that's me.
So let's discuss privately to see whether, to see if you want to go with the old model here of 600, because like you, at the end of the day, it's about the same price, or you want to go with the new model of 1,600.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. All right. This is still the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still the old one. So, and that was what I saw yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's still the same. It's the same us. It's the same item. No problem. If you are comfortable with this and you want to go this way, no problem. But like I said, it's just that the market keeps changing, not too drastically. So we want to be up to date, but it doesn't mean that the old way is not completely useless. No, it's just our effort to make you versatile so that you can compete out there for the opportunity with other people from another. All right. All right, guys, that's about it for today. The link will be ready in about 2 hours, and then once you send me a message on WhatsApp, I will forward the link to you.
All right, sure.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye, sir.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay.